Picture this. You're on an alien planet, swimming through an ocean not knowing what you'll come across next. You hear a roar echo around you. You frantically start scanning around you. Everything turns quiet. You look down and all you can see is darkness. Welcome to Subnautica. Subnautica is, in my opinion, one of the greatest games of all time. Ever since I saw the footage of it back in 2015 when it was in early stages of development, I fell in love with it. Subnautica first began development back in 2013 by a small team called Unknown Worlds. The game was heavily inspired by Minecraft and the Sandy Hook Elementary shooting. Charlie Cleveland, who is Unknown Worlds game director, wanted to make a non-violent game as he wanted to do his part in reducing gun violence in the US. Cool guy. Subnautica was first released into early access on Steam in 2014 as the team was running out of money to keep up with development. Fortunately for him, this was the best decision he could have made as the amount of coverage this game got from YouTubers was incredible. If you want to hear more about the actual development, I link a video from Ars Technica. Really recommend checking it out. Subnautica takes place on planet 4546b where you crash land a ship called the Aurora. From there you craft things to help you survive, explore the beautiful ocean and shiver from the fear this game induces onto you. No really, this game is terrifying. Everything about this game is just perfect. Usually I'll be able to agree on weak points of games and have a nice civil argument about them, but with this game I am ready to about kill someone if you talk shit about it. In my eyes, this game is near flawless, so you should have seen my excitement when I heard that a sequel called Below Zero was coming in the near future. I specifically didn't watch any gameplay of the game, no trailers, nothing. Hell, I even bought the most immersive monitor out there for this game. So does the sequel hold up to the original? Well, watch the fucking video. Bitch. The game starts off as you crash land on planet 4546b in a place called Sector 0 on a search to find out what happened to your friend Sam that worked for Altera. Altera did a lot of research in Sector 0, but all of that mysteriously disappeared. This place is basically the Antarctica of the planet. Icebergs, penguins, snow, well, anything that you would find in Antarctica. You make your way to the ocean, then the traditional Subnautica experience begins. Grab some fish, grab some resources, explore, shit yourself, just the usual. Without spoiling too much of the game, you discover backstory and what happened to Sector 0 while also learning about the backstory of the precursors from the first game. The game is filled with voice acting and generally a lot more life. Discover a fair few characters like a friendly precursor and a discount Evangelion character. Unlike the first game, there is much higher incentive on ground exploration with a whole new section of the game and new creatures. There are also new vehicles in the game like the sea truck and snowmobile. Unsurprisingly, there are also new creatures in the game. They range from absolutely terrifying to cute as fuck. I'll bring up the monsters in a bit because that in my opinion is the weakest part of the game. There's a ton to explore around this world with new and unique feeling biomes and locations like abandoned research stations. But while this game does bring in a ton of new content, it doesn't mean it's good content, so let me get to some of it. The ground exploration is a heavy focus and selling point of the game. Unfortunately for Unknown Worlds, this place is fucking pointless. There's practically nothing here. I explored almost every corner of this place trying to find a place to progress the story and it's just empty. You'll be riding around your snowmobile for ages and find nothing. This place feels extremely forced and other than one place, it isn't interesting at all. It's boring and it really ruins the game as this place is necessary to explore. It's far too big with far too little of a reward for exploration, which I think is Subnautica's main appeal. The vehicles in this game are dumb. There's no other way to put it. See, I don't have a problem with recycling some assets from the old game, but when you remove the good ones and replace them with pieces of shit like a crate instead of a Seamoth, that's when you start pushing the wrong buttons. I wouldn't have been mad if they added new ones and changed around some of the other ones like the Seamoth, but the thing that pisses me off is that they removed the Cyclops. Don't get me wrong, I understand the reasoning behind removing it, I'll get onto it later, but come on, really? They tried their best to replicate the feeling of the Cyclops with the sea truck by adding upgrade modules they can attach onto it, but it isn't the same. There is so much concept art for different Cyclops design, and they didn't use a single one. The story is, well, it's there. Unlike the first game where you were all alone in the world, in this game you have a fucking alien lodged inside your brain constantly asking questions. Now, the story isn't bad, it's just not anything good. It's actually really cool to see our main character develop a relationship with the precursor, but it's the other characters that bring it down. See, I don't care about where Sam is or where she's gone. Hell, I don't even know why we're risking our lives for her, she's obviously fucking dead. Apparently Altera is also evil in this game, but to be honest, I couldn't find anything evil about them. The only thing I could find is that they froze a Leviathan to find a cure for a virus, and let's be honest, it can fucking stay there. The progression in this game is also terrible. After a certain point, the game throws you into the deep end and says fuck you, figure it out. Also, you can't use that "this game isn't finished yet" excuse since it's literally one update away from being finished. Now, my least liked feature is the creatures, particularly the enemies. The mostly harmless creatures are awesome, don't get me wrong. You have penguins, cute sea monkeys, some round boys, but the actual threatening ones are underwhelming. There are far too few of them in the game with far too less creativity put into them. You have the water dog, the shark mixed with the squid. You have an oversized shrimp. a literal crab, a literal whale, the blue waffle, and by far my favorite, the snow schlong. That's about it. It's really disappointing going from the terrifying creatures of the original to the uninspired ones of Below Zero. Who could forget their first time going face to face with a Reaper of Leviathan? If you can tell me with full honesty that the creatures of Below Zero are better than the original game, you actually have a mental deficiency. You're telling me this is scarier than this? The creatures of Subnautica are the best part of the game. There is something about the unknown mixed with the ocean that terrifies the ever-living shit out of mostly everyone. We don't know what you're going to come across next, how big the next Leviathan is, what it looks like, what it sounds like. It's the unknown that's terrifying. So when I see a fucking shrimp, you best believe I ain't scared. I just ate 10 of these fuckers at a restaurant. You think I'm gonna shit myself? Now, don't get me wrong. The game isn't bad. It's still pretty good. I love playing through it and learning the backstory of what caused the events of the first game. It was a blast to play through and I definitely didn't regret playing it. The problem with this game is that it isn't bad. It's just not as good as the original. The first game set such a high bar of expectations that setting a new bar of expectations is practically impossible. The experience definitely is unique from the first game and that's an amazing thing. The game is still Subnautica and I would be lying to you that I didn't get scared. The atmosphere is still there, but it doesn't stick around for as long. I don't want to shit talk Below Zero in this video. Hell, I love this game. It's a good sequel, although not as long, it still does the job at scaring you and teaching you the events following the first game. Take the precursors for example. Before Below Zero, we didn't know what they looked like, what they sounded like, how they worked, what was their purpose on planet 4546b. You learn all of that in Below Zero, although there are a lot of, what would I call it, disappointing aspects of the game. It still doesn't make up for the fact that it's still Subnautica. It's still terrifying, atmospheric, and one of the best game series to grace the planet. Saying that though, I do not recommend this game if you haven't played the first one. The first game is infinitely better than this one. It's longer, scarier, and good god if it isn't one of my favorite games out there. If you haven't played Subnautica yet, you're missing out. Thank you for getting this far in the video. If you wouldn't mind, could you press that little button over there? How about this one as well while you're at it? Also, please check out my Twitter to keep up to date with latest videos and video ideas. You can vote on video ideas, and if you have any other ideas of your own, feel free to shoot me a DM. Peace.